In pursuit of a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree. All I gotta say is, wow, that's what I call a horror masterpiece. What can I say? It kind of shook me throughout my whole body after I kind of finished watching it. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight because some of this imagery really got under my skin. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, during this movie, I was just squeezing my palms so bad. I was like sweating. I was like, holy crap, I need to actually breathe because it was actually really getting under my skin. And horror movies this year have been kind of lacking. I mean, it's kind of been an okay year. First Omen had some pretty unsettling scenes, but this was on a whole nother different level. And some are saying it's the scariest movie of all time, scariest film of all time. You know, I wouldn't look into that quote. You know, I wouldn't hate on people who think that, but the thing is, it's just a quote about someone who's talking with their own opinion. And so I would say when you're going into this movie, go in with zero expectations. You know, if you go in with zero expectations, you'll almost never be disappointed. I feel like what a lot of people are doing with this quote and with a lot of this hype around this movie, they're going in with too high of expectations. They're going in with expectations. You know, don't go in with any expectations. You won't be disappointed. What I will say though, I went in with zero expectations and I absolutely loved it. You know, I thought it was just a very strong take on like a serial killer story about this really mad guy, this FBI agent trying to tackle and trying to just take down this mad person, kind of like Zodiac in a sense. But I will say it is more scary than Zodiac and gets more under your skin than Zodiac does. And it's not scary in terms of jump scares. As I said, it just gets under your skin and it kind of just gets into the back of your mind and stays there for a long time. So when you're going into it, I will say go in with zero expectations. Even though I loved it personally, maybe you might not like it, so just go in with zero expectations. Don't let the expectations get to your head. I will say the marketing for this movie was excellent. The horror marketing for movies these days has been quite great. You know, the last great marketing was kind of like Megan and Smile. I can't wait to see what they do with Smile 2. All the marketing for that, see people will show up on games and all that. But man, some of these trailers were just excellent. I didn't watch a lot of the trailers personally. I saw that a lot of them were like really short. I think I watched like a minute trailer of this, and it doesn't give any of the really major plot points away. It just gives you a lot of horrifying imagery, which I thought was really well done. There's some very great posters that are, you know, very R-rated. Like some of these posters just actually freaked me out just a little bit. And my theater was absolutely packed. You know, big numbers for horror movies. You haven't seen much, especially for this one, especially for Neon. Neon doesn't have, you know, big horror movies these days opening with, you know, 10 million, 15 million. But I think that this one might open close to 20 million, which could be, you know, some of Neon's biggest openings yet. And I think it was made for like 10 million or less. So this is going to be a big success. I'm very happy for them. You know, the marketing budget was spent well, and damn, you know, Ozgood Perkins actually directed this, and I've never seen a film from Ozgood, but now I'm going to keep an eye on him from now on because he has the sauce, he has the aura, he has all the sauce in the world. Just let him direct any horror movie now. He's like, he kind of reminded me of like what Mike Flanagan goes for in a style and sense of his horror movies. And he's also directing the Monkey movie for next year, which is actually an adaptation of the short story from Stephen King. I haven't actually read that short story, but I really do want to pick up that book with where he has wrote all those short stories. I think the Monkey movie actually has a great cast right now. I'm gonna be there day one, but I'm just all locked in on Osgood Perkins. I think he did a great job at kind of building this atmosphere because the atmosphere was also pretty horrifying. Do want to talk about the cinematography for a little bit because this might have been, you know, some of the best cinematography of the year, just under Dune 2 and probably Challengers. I think I do like the cinematography more than something like Furiosa because in its approach, you know, there isn't many close-ups of characters' faces in here. Not a lot of close-ups of something like Longlegs or, you know, Maika Monroe's character, which I really appreciated because it kind of makes you fear of what you're going to see. Kind of makes you, you know, when you're watching it, you're like, oh, are they going to do a close-up? Are they going to do a jump scare? But there's really not a lot of jump scares. I don't really remember like one jump scare from this whole movie. It's a lot of, you know, tracking shots of the camera following someone walking into some place, seeing what they're going to see for the first time. Like, you look at something through these characters' eyes for the first time. You don't get to see it first. They don't get to see it first. You kind of follow them into these rooms, which I thought was great. There's a lot of medium shots, a lot of ultra wide shots that I thought were just really cool. Like, there's some ultra wide shots of just a car driving down the road in the dark with a lot of big trees, and you're like at the height of the tallest tree, and just see the car driving by itself. That left me a big impression on me, because that just spooked me. Just being in the nighttime, just driving all alone on this one road, and just the ultra wide shot, and what could be in this frame. There's a lot of things could be in this frame. I thought that just the camera work was so well done, especially for a horror film. The score isn't that memorable though, because there isn't much of one. And what I'm saying with that kind of, what I'm saying there is that it operates with a lot of silence and just a lot of characters talking to each other. There's not a lot of score behind characters having a conversation, which is, it's a very quiet movie, I'd say. So it didn't really need a big score to accompany it, which I thought, it utilized its dialogue very well in that sense. And if you are kind of scared to see it, I will say you kind of need to be. There's a lot of shocking scenes in here. Like I said, it kind of shook me to my core. Just seeing what Longlegs actually look like freaked me out, because you don't get to see him for a little bit. You get to see maybe the bottom of his face, just his hair, top of his face. You don't get to see him for like a pretty decent part of this film. Like about halfway in, you finally get to see him, and what he looked like freaked me out just in the worst ways possible. And the kills in a certain scene with Longlegs and a table will make you want to cover your eyes. Like I covered my eyes with that certain scene with Longlegs. You'll know when you see it. Let's just say that. Let's talk about our two main cast members, Maika Monroe, who is of course known for It Follows and recently Watcher, which I haven't seen yet, but I really need to get onto. But she's most known for It Follows, which I think is a really good film with some really great ideas built into it. But I absolutely loved her here. I thought that her character was actually really interesting here, even though she was a very quiet character. She has a lot of secrets. There's a lot of mystery behind her, but I really liked how she was unpacking this mystery, how she was actually a pretty great FBI agent, but was actually scared at the same time. I really did like how quiet she was, and I thought that she was excellent here. Let's talk about Nicolas Cage. He's known for hella movies. He's been in like over 100 by now, and his performance as Longlegs is one of his best performances yet, I'd say. And the makeup work done on him was unsettling. His movements and the way he talked to people almost had me running out of the theater doors. I was like, this guy is weird. He's bringing his Nicolas Cage style to it, but in a very horror way, let's say, a very scary way. And there's one scene of Maika and his character talking, and that is one of the best scenes I've seen this year. I thought it was directed so well, just how it was paced very well, and how he was talking, the script behind that scene. It was just a terrific scene. I thought Nicolas Cage really stood out for performances this year. He's not going to get nominated for an Oscar because horror movies are never really nominated, but he would be my front runner right now, for one of my front runners for like supporting actor, because he was very unsettling. Some might not like the pace of this movie because of how slow and how evil it is, but I kept filling me with so much fear and dread, which is what a horror movie should do, and it's only 2 hours, so I thought it was paced very well. But overall, I absolutely loved Longlegs, even though it freaked me out like a lot. I will be thinking about some of these scenes for so much time. I just want to rewatch it, but also I don't really want to rewatch it at the same time because of how freaky and how messed up it was. But Maika and Nick Cage turned in some phenomenal performances, and the atmosphere created by Ozgood Perkins will haunt you to your core. So I'm going to give Longlegs a strong 9 out of 10. This is only on first watch. Of course, I could, either raise it or lower it on a rewatch. I do plan to rewatch it, because horror movies, they can go up, they can go down, but no one knows. But what I know is that this is a horror masterpiece. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I really did like this one. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments if you did enjoy Longlegs. If you did enjoy my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.